Hello, my name is Kelly Bluen. I am a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Zen. In these videos, I usually show you how to make one tangle using the Zentangle method of drawing. Today I'm showing you one main one and then one that's just a little bit more of like an enhancement or a little extra. So to make these, I'm using a micron pen. I have a graphite pencil for drawing and shading and a little blending tool called a tortillon. I'm also using a 2" by 2" Zentangle tile called the Bijou tile. And all of these materials are available on zentangle.com, or you can follow me on Facebook at Let's Tangle, and you can message me for supplies. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to turn this over and we're going to start with our pencil, and we're going to begin by putting a dot in each of the four corners. So we're doing Bloomerz and we're doing Buzz. So Bloomerz is our main tangle, but we're going to start by making this little picture frame by connecting each of these dots. So when I make these videos, I never have background music on. I like for you to be able to choose your own music, find what calms you. Right now I'm up at my camper, and it's been such a quiet day here all day, and I just went to record, and there's a bunch of teenagers outside that turned on loud music, and they're playing that bags game where you throw the bags into a piece of wood. So if you hear a lot of noise, that's what's going on. Okay, so for Bloomerz, we're going to make these little flower-shaped tangles. I'm going to pick up my pen to do this, and I'm just going to pick probably 4 spots to put my 4 larger ones. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to start pretty close to that edge, and I'm going to ink it in. Just a little oval like that. Then maybe down here I'll do one. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger. It's fun to play around with the sizes a little bit. And then I'm going to put one up here. Maybe I'll just do 3 for right now, and then I can add more wherever we want them. Okay, so after I make that initial little oval, I'm just going to make a wiggly line around the outside. It doesn't matter how many wiggles you make. I'm going to do it around each of these. And this last one. I'm going to add more around this one just to make them look a little bit different from each other. Okay, after you have those little wiggly petals made, we're going to make a line from the center out. And this can go anywhere, or you can try to match it up to where the petals come in. So it doesn't really matter, but you can kind of do it like that if you want. This larger one, I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm kind of curving these in a little bit just to give it a bit of a rounded appearance. And like this. Look at how different each of those already look. Now you can leave the petals just like that, or if you want, you can add some little flicks for a detail, or some little tiny ones. All right, and then the fun part about Bloomerz is that we put this U-shape cup underneath. So I'm going to do that over, no, I think I'm going to do the largest one first. So I go to like the widest petal over here, and I just make a U shape underneath it, like the bulb of the plant. So I say this is the fun part because here's where you can get a little bit creative and you can make different shapes of bulbs, different sizes. So this one over here I'm going to go down a little bit and kind of come out and back up. And this one I'll do that same thing. I kind of go down and go wide and come back up. And then before I add in any stems or any more details, I want to add a few more of these flowers. So I'm going to think about putting one over here. And I like when my things go outside of the frame a little bit. So I think I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to make a tiny one. Use the space you have. It does not need to look like mine. I put in those little detailed lines. And I'm going to make just a round bulb on the bottom of this one. We'll make another little tiny one next to it. I'm going to let these kind of overlap. So one is going behind the other. And add something to that. And then I think I'm going to do one more over here and then I'll stop for a minute. So put in the oval. This little wiggle, looks like a fried egg. Add a bulb on the bottom. So I'm going to try one more. I've never actually tried this one, but I saw it in one of the examples where they did it hanging over. So I'm going to make my oval at a diagonal. I'll show you what I mean. And then add the wiggles and the lines. But instead of putting the bulb down here, we're going to put the bulb up on top. And then another thing I saw in the examples is some of them you can put like an additional little bottom piece on them if you'd like. Isn't that kind of cute? It's not in the original design, but you can add that. Okay, now I'm going to add some stems and some little leaves, and then we'll add designs to our bulbs. So you can decide if you want your stems to go all the way down and outside your frame or you want them to stay in the frame. I'm going to let mine come right out. So I'm just going to put a line in and then a very narrow little stem like that. And then for a leaf, I like to do the flux shape, which is the teardrop. So I'm going to start small and come out large like that and like that. And then typically with flux, I would put the line right here, which you can do, or you can try putting it up here. Oh, sorry, bumped my camera. So on this one here, I'm going to do little flux shapes. I'm going to try to make these two crisscross each other just to make it interesting. That kind of worked. And you can do a flux shape that's a little bit more of a heart. That's kind of cute. And then we have to do this go behind. So like this one right here is going to come down and it's going to go a little bit behind that one. Just adding this little bit of weight up on top just to make it interesting. There's so many ways you can draw leaves. I've got this one over here that needs to come down. I'm just kind of drawing those where I think they might be. And then this one over here, I'm going to draw my stem coming down and going right down behind here, which means I have to imagine where it comes out all the way down. And then I aura it and imagine where that comes out. You just want the illusion that it makes sense. It doesn't have to make sense. If you've got room for leaves, add some leaves. That's kind of cute coming down like that. Okay, now on the bulbs. So this is not your typical Zentangle. This is more of a Zentangle inspired art. We're kind of drawing an actual object, but that's okay. Okay, so on this bulb here, I'm just going to put in some straight lines and curvy lines as that starts to get rounded on the side, like that. This one I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to lift my pen part way down and just give it more of a dotted look. And this one I'm just going to do really light lines. And something else I thought was cute was that somebody did some stripes. Again, these do not represent real flowers. It's just a fun little idea. Over here, I'm going to do those curved lines again. I love working on these little tiles. They get filled up so quickly. Okay, before we do some shading, we're going to add Buzz. So Buzz was created by Debbie Monero, and she said on tanglepatterns.com, she talks about how it's just a little doodle she's made for years and years, and somebody said you should make that into a tangle. So it's just kind of a little insect, but I love that it doesn't look exactly like an insect. So we start by putting a little tiny dot and two nice little wings. And then at the top up here, we do a wiggly line like that, and then two little dots. And underneath we continue that wiggly line, but it just gets long and narrow. And I kind of love, because I love dragonflies, like I would have put antenna on this little guy, and I kind of like that he doesn't have antenna because the flowers don't represent real flowers. He's not a real insect. It's just for fun. I'm going to put another one right here. I'm going to make this guy turned a little bit. Got that little spot on top. And then wiggles down. So cute. Okay, now I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to put ink on that frame, but I'm going to jump over all of the pieces that I drew. So I mean inking in that frame wherever I can see it. Like that. It's so adorable. Just realized I didn't decorate this little guy right here. Let's give him some stripes. He sort of got lost down there. Right, I'm going to add my initials to the bottom. And do a little bit of shading. All right, so I have this little tiny pencil. And on each of these bloomers, I'm going to go around that oval. So on the outside of those ovals, I'm putting a little bit of graphite. And then I can push it out towards those petals. And it gives it a little bit of dimension. Okay. Forgot to do this one. It's so funny trying to record at a campground. There's so much going on. Okay. And then on this, the bulb part, I'm going to put graphite underneath those petals as if it created a shadow. And then I'm going to also put some down here at the bottom. And I can blend this little shadow out and towards the center. And I can blend this one up and towards the center. And look at the dimension that has. I love it. So I'm going to do that on all of them. I'm going to go underneath the petals and at the very bottom. Under the petals and on the bottom. And this one I have to go on top of the petals. And then I just blend each of those towards the center, but leaving some white space in the middle to offer that little bit of light. Look how cute these are. Oh, I love it. Okay, then I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to just go back, and on each of these leaves, I'm just going to put some graphite in that little point of the leaf. And then I can push that up the leaf. And look at how that makes that look like it's turning in there just a little bit. Just little shadows. Okay, one last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit on the inside of my frame, wherever I can see it. And there's no special reason for this, except I just like the idea of this little shadow in the background. Isn't that kind of cute? And then with my blending tool, I've got graphite on the tip, And so on these little tiny buzz, I'm going to put some graphite right in the center and a little bit on the edges of those wings. And that's it. That is Bloomerz and Buzz. I hope you had so much fun. Follow me on Facebook at Let's Tangle and share your work. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.